Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Azine Williams. How are you all doing? Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are fine. If you're new to this channel, kindly click on the subscription button, click on the notification bell to let you know whenever I post any new video. Okay guys, so yesterday at the Big Brother Nigeria reunion, it was a whole lot of drama. Yes, so I gave you guys an update on everything that happened at the reunion, but today in this video we are going to be analyzing them one after the other. So at the reunion, it was all about the whole triangle, pyramid, trapezium, and this time around it involved Prince and his girls. That is Prince, Tolanibaj, Watoni, and by extension Dorothy and then Nengi. But even though yesterday was more about Prince, Watoni, and Tolanibaj, so during the course of this whole drama that unfolded yesterday, somehow V and Tolanibaj went at each other. Neo joined, and that was it. So I'm here to analyze everything that happened at that reunion yesterday. So let us start with Prince. So Prince is the king of pyramids. He's that guy that almost every girl at some point in that show wanted. I mean, we cannot even deny that fact. So Prince yesterday, of course, aired his views about his relationship with Watoni and with, of course, Tolanibaj and Nengi. And from his own point of view of everything he said yesterday, you could see that when it comes to Tolanibaj, he was actually being very truthful. Yes, if you ask me, because why do I say so? We saw that relationship at some point, it was draining Prince. It was draining him, and he said something. Whatever happened on the outside, is really not his fault, because at that point he was still inside the house. And when he made mention of the fact that they were trying to work things out, and Tolanibaj on her own was busy eyeing her best friend's man. So of course that speaks a lot about her character. So I'm with him on that one. And they also made Prince, they put him on so much of a high pedestal. The ladies put him as if he's hot cake. Really, in as much as they all tried to form classy and everything, they ended up making Prince look like the trophy. Whether we like it or not, he was the king. Right there, they made him the alpha male, the male that every other female wanted. I mean, he had the whole couch to himself. So yeah, and they didn't even make him, contrary to what we saw from some of the clips when Talani was like, "You're not man enough" and everything. That whole "you're not man enough" thing ended up making Prince look better. It didn't have the desired effect that Tolani wanted. So Prince ended up looking better and ended up being vindicated. Why? Because at the end of the day, when Tolani was going back and forth with Neo, we now saw the Talani that said, that Prince was not man enough was now busy telling Neo, I mean, can't you be a man? I mean, so you were saying that you were trying to use to make Prince jealous because Neo was more of a man than Prince, yet you were there, having a screaming match with Neo and telling him he's not a man. What does that mean? I mean, if you look at Prince's countenance yesterday, you could see that he, in his own self, he felt, what, at least everybody has seen everything I have been saying from the get-go. So yeah, Prince was made the king of the show. Now, number two, let's talk about Watoni. Now, Watoni played the same card that Dorothy played, which she was, kind of forcing Dorothy to admit something that Dorothy said was not there, the whole feelings thing. And I don't really understand the big deal about the feelings thing. We all, or maybe it's because of our society, we are making it look as if having feelings for somebody and then the feelings not being reciprocated is a bad thing. It happens, it's reality. We all have liked somebody at some point that didn't like us. That doesn't make you any less of a human. But because of the way we have gone on and on about it, it's now a big deal that they would not even want to admit anything. Now, the tables were turned yesterday. Dorothy was now the one going at Watoni. Now, the difference between the two of them, was Dorothy asked Watoni a question, and when she answered, Dorothy now said she knows that Watoni liked Prince, but she doesn't know if it was cruise or not because Watoni was everywhere with different guys at every time. check out Dorothy's response and Watoni's response to her own case. So she was now in the defense, trying to defend whether she had feelings for Prince, which everybody admitted she did, but on her own, she was being, cruised. So did Watoni have feelings for Prince? Yes, it was obvious, unless we're going to be lying to ourselves. But if she says it's cruise, that's one me, I cannot say if I know if it's cruise or not, because just like Dora said, Watoni was everywhere. Seriously, I mean, there was a kid in the picture at some point. There was an Eric, there was a Prince, there was who else was there? There was another person that was in the mix, Bright O. So Watoni was really everywhere. So maybe she was just catching cruise. Who knows? Me, I'm not gonna force a relationship or a feeling on somebody. Not that it's a bad thing. And also, still on Watoni, I don't know what her game plan was. I mean, the whole time when Prince said she was insignificant, which he should not have said, and Watoni, stood up and was doing I don't know what she was doing, a display of pageantry. I don't even know what to say, but for me it was a show of shame, because I mean, you are trying so hard to tell a guy that you are more than enough, or that you are not insignificant, and at the end of the day you stood there after showing yourself, telling the guy you cannot that he cannot afford your makeup, your dress and all everything. I see asked Ebuka, should I sit down? Ebuka was like, Obuka, did I even ask you to stand, madam? I mean, really, it was so silly. It was so silly. And her facial expressions, seriously, I have never, for a very long time, felt, I don't know, I don't want to use the word ashamed, but I kind of felt that ashamed yesterday when watching the show on behalf of some of the girls there. Seriously, shame left them and was now catching me, that was in my house watching, paying my own subscription with my own money. I won't lie. So Watoni, I don't know what her game plan is. Who told her that? Who gave her this game plan? It's not working. Watoni should just be herself. Don't try so hard. It was very, very obvious that she was trying so hard, yesterday at the reunion. And yes, I also felt that she was a bit hurt. Yes, she was a bit hurt by when Prince, referred to her as insignificant, and I mean, anybody would be hurt, especially when you like somebody and you place them on a very high pedestal, and Prince is wrong for that. Seriously, he shouldn't have said that. Now, moving on, let's talk about Dorothy. Now, Dorothy, for me, was everywhere too. I mean, she was, at some point I was wondering if she was the assistant to Ebuka. I will not lie, I'm just going to be playing with you guys. I'm like, babe, calm down. She was, making the side talk. Remember back in the house when Lucy, told Kid Wire that one of the things she did not like about Dorothy was the whole side comments when you are having an issue with somebody and she's putting out those side comments. You also remember the time when she was like, no boyfriend, no problem. Remember when Erica and Elekon, situation, the whole fight. Remember the way she was acting? Yeah, she displayed that yesterday. Now the thing is, a lot of people did not notice it back in the house, but I did. So people are now saying, oh, Dorothy is pretending. I'm like, is this not the same character she exhibited in the house? When it comes to pretense, I will not say she pretended when it comes to side comments, because Lucy complained about it in the house. We saw it in the house, and she actually did it. Now, was I encouraged by it? No, I was a bit disappointed. Like, why would she display that, on screen at that point? I mean, this is a reunion. I know there is time for everything. I know Dorothy likes catching cruise, but she did not read the room. So for me, I was really, really disappointed. And again, she basically did some of the things she accused Watoni of in the previous episode. So yeah, telling us that sometimes you just accuse somebody of something not knowing that you are guilty of the same thing. So that is what I feel about the Dorothy thing. Maybe in her head she was catching cruise, but she basically did not read the room. Now, away from Dorothy, let's talk about Tolanibaj. Yeah, Tolanibaj was her on and she was everywhere. She was overly dramatic. She tried so hard to be the highlight of the show. She tried so hard. I don't know if they told her that you are going to be the headline of the show if you are overly dramatic, at some point the drama became childish to me, in as much as I laughed my head off yesterday, but I also felt some kind of shame because I'm a woman too, and seeing her display, on television, it was absurd, seriously. And she tried so hard to prove to Prince that he didn't matter to her, that she's a classic girl, that she is the bad bee, but she ended up looking so classless and so desperate. Yes, I mean, she went on and on about it. I understand her own point of view, where she said she regretted, ever going into that relationship with Prince, which she spearheaded, and saying that she doesn't care about Prince. We all know that's a lie. She actually did care about Prince, but the repercussions of that relationship when she got out, even me, I can understand that, because I mean, she got a lot of drags because of that, and she also talked about Prince's family, disrespecting her and all that. So I can understand where she's coming from. She could have just made her point and not just be overly dramatic. The points where she said she was trying to use Neo, who happened to be her best friend's man at that time, to get Prince jealous, that doesn't hold any water. I mean, your friend does not know about it, you just went ahead to do it. And not just did you say you just wanted to make him jealous, we also found out that even after she got out of the show, during her interview with Ebuka, she actually said she likes Neo, that if Neo wanted to hit things off, when she came out of the house, she would readily do it. So does that sound like somebody that actually wanted to make somebody jealous with a guy? No. And you also said that Prince was not man enough. Yet, the same person you said is not man enough, that you're using the other person who is more man enough, to, make jealous. You ended up having a bout with the other person. And during that, Tolanibaj, during all her arguments, she showed a level of classlessness. Number one, during her bout with, what's her name, V, Tolanibaj, she shamed V for not having a degree. For me, that's a low blow. V can stand in any place and speak, and you will never ever know that she doesn't have a degree. And we are in the 21st century, year 2021, where people are doing great things because of skills and not really because of your degree. I mean, bring a Tolanibaj and a V for a job, and I will pick V over her, because we saw in the house, is it not the same Tolanibaj that was saying that Europe was not a continent? I mean, with all her 3 degrees, no shades at her, but I mean, since she decided to shade another person because of her education, now, of course, everybody has got the right to talk about it. So number 2, she shamed Neo, where she said that Neo has not even traveled outside of the country, that he's not her class. Auntie, do I need to remind you that you are also using that same Neo that you now claim is not your class to tell another man that obviously you said you don't care about, that he is more of a man than him? That doesn't make any sense. She was just looking so tacky in every corner. And she also brought out a lot of things. She said a lot of nasty things. She didn't really want V to talk. She was just like trying to shove V up. And V gave her the classic, like the boss thing. V played her role so well. And Tolanibaj kept going on. And at the end of the day, she ended up looking messy. I mean, is this what she was telling us to be looking forward to? Is this what she felt, that this is how to be classy? I mean, if that phrase, I'm a bad bee, was a person, I'm sure by now the phrase would have fainted. Seriously, Tolanibaj, nah, she did not do it for me at all. All that her overly dramatic display, throwing a pillow at V. I mean, I thought it was something serious, seriously, but when I saw it, it's just crazy. I'm about to unbuckle her sandals. Was she planning to throw that sandals at V? Does that even make any sense? Say she's gonna beat V up, at the end of the day, nothing happened. You don't, like, at some point, it became like, makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, baby girl, when we wanted the fire, you came out as ice block. Now we just wanted a mature conversation, and you are blowing fire, where there is nothing to blow fire on. It doesn't make any sense. Tbaj, nah. Now let's talk about Neo. Neo yesterday, even as much as he talks too much, he said things he shouldn't have said, but he defended his queen. And I like the fact that when when he was given the opportunity to talk, the very first thing he said was to compliment his queen. That to me is beautiful. Neo is really a lover guy from beginning to end, a lover boy from beginning to end. And I also like the fact that he made it known to Tolanibaj, I don't like you. The same Tolanibaj that was saying all those things, Neo brought her down. Seriously, when Neo said, sorry, I'm a fine boy, it's not my fault that I don't like you. And even though Tolanibaj brought it upon herself, where she was, class shaming Neo gave it to her basketballs, like, you are not gold. What's there in you that I'll be attracted to? There's really nothing about you that I'm going to be attracted to. So Neo was a bit raz, but that's Neo. And Tolanibaj ended up making Neo look like the trophy again. She basically made Neo look like a trophy. Now, was Neo lying? There's a possibility, maybe Neo talk about feeling. But then again, Neo has this habit of complimenting people. So if I compliment you, does that mean I want to get down with you? Does that mean I want to have something to do with you? Now, if that's the case, that means also, according to that whole ideology, that means Neo also wanted to have something to do with Dora, because I've seen several times Neo complimented Dora. So I think this whole thing is all about Tolanibaj not being able to handle herself as a woman. So I give it to Neo for defending his woman. Now let's talk about V. V has taught us once again that it's not about the person that has the loudest voice that wins an argument. V came at Tolanibaj with arguments, and I love with facts, and I love the fact that she owned up to her shit. Seriously, I love the fact. She said, you call me with bitter leaf, no problem. You call me a witch, no problem. That's fine. She also said admitted about the things she said about, Tolanibaj and house, that it came from a hurtful place, which I understand. My friend, trying to get down with my man and saying that he's using it to get whatever, it doesn't really make any sense at all. So, and also, I think where V, I kind of like faulted her was where she trying to slut shame Tolanibaj. And Tolanibaj also tried to slut shame her, but she also kind of blocks the slut shaming, because she said, that thing you're accusing me of doing, I do it for free, and the guy I do it with is at your back. And I also like the fact where she was like, Tolanibaj, you said that when Neo comes out, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, see Neo, he's at your back. Let's see. How is that working out for you? And also, V has told us so much, like she has showed us that if you want to come for her, you better come correct. Seriously, she blocked the shade about the slut shaming thing, even though she was the one that started it. She blocked the degree shading. She basically was a queen. She said that she was like, okay, whenever Tolanibaj is done, whenever you are done with the theatrics. And she also made mention of the fact that Tolanibaj was doing too much because it was live TV. There are other times before now you could have really, really sorted out this issue, but you decided to go all out. And what she said was basically what was in a lot of our minds. And again, about Tolanibaj is really not the girl you would like to be as a friend, or like to have as a friend. And at this point, I'm scared for Erica, I will not lie. I said this is just a show. If this is her character in real life, then it's really, really scary. Seriously, she really, really made V look like a saint. She made me forget about everything, that about V being bitter and everything. She basically made me forget about that. And she's now looking like the villain here. Why? When she made the mention of the fact that, Ebuka kept asking her, why would you do that to your friend? And she was like, oh, maybe she was not just a friend. Maybe she doesn't rate her and everything. I'm like, are you serious? Tolanibaj, V was one person that really, really, really had her back. Seriously, before the whole incident, V was really her friend. You guys go back and watch. So what did V actually do to her to warrant that? No matter V, whatever, V was never really bad to Tolanibaj before this whole drama thing happened. So that tells a lot about Tolanibaj as a friend. It tells a lot about her character. Will I want to have a friend like that near me? The answer is no. So when it comes to the, fight that happened yesterday, V won hands down. She came at Tolanibaj with points. She even said, that thing I said about your edges, Talani, you don't have edges. This one is when Osofia said, no cutting of corners. If you want to talk to me directly. And she did. To me, V was the queen of the show. She was the highlight yesterday. It's not about gra. It's not about shouting. It's just about being a queen that you are. Now to the others. Kidwire. See, they should have pity on Kidwire. All these things, Kidwire just wants to travel. He wants to go to Greece. He wants to go to Canada. He wants to go to UK. So they should just stop wasting his time. See, as they are making my brother wear winter coats for a long time. And Kidwai on his own, from his facial expressions, he's just tired. Nengi is a queen. She did not talk when she was not addressed or when she was not asked to talk. Praise and Chukiti are crazy. Lucy too. Brighto was just doing his face like that. At the end of the day, Ebuka he's had a whole lot. Yesterday, he had a whole lot. Now, do I envy Ebuka? Hell no. But one thing I would admire about Ebuka, he's a great host. Yesterday, he asked Tolanibaj one particular question 3 times. No matter all her shouting, he still wanted to know why she did it. And at the end of the day, it now boils down to Tolanibaj never really saw V as a friend. So really, that is what I think about yesterday's show. We saw that basically it was Prince. Prince was the alpha male in the house. He was the one that almost all of them wanted. And the BBL lockdown women, there's a lot of lies in that reunion. Seriously, there's a lot of lies, and they will not want to admit their feelings, because we as the audience has made it look like having feelings for people and then getting not really getting a vibe you want from the person is now a bad thing. Not knowing that, or not wanting to admit that it's a natural thing that happens. Not everybody you likes you in return. So guys, that's it from me. Let me know what you think about all this that happened yesterday at the reunion show in the comments section. Thank you guys so very much for being part of my channel. If you've not already subscribed, kindly click on the subscription button, click on the notification bell to let you know whenever I post any new video. Until I come your way again, I remain your darling girl, Ezine Williams. Have yourself a beautiful day ahead. Bye, guys.